Yeah. Oh, can you fill me in? Let's talk about it.
When we were talking earlier, you mentioned that you didn't get into photography sort of through a normal route. It was a sort of misfortune.
It wasn't really, yeah. I mean, I'd always taken snapshots from being a kid,
Yeah.
and always enjoyed it. Never really happy with results.
Right.
You know, it's heads cut off when you're a kid, and
Yeah.
big skies, nothing else. But yeah, through music. Well, I mean, I was into fishing. I got my fishing tackle stolen,
Yeah.
and I just started getting into photography a bit. So I spent the insurance money on a camera,
Right.
a film camera. It was a Pentax K1000.
So for anyone under 25,
Yeah,
maybe.
I have a clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Before fancy phones and before
Absolutely.
fancy digital cameras.
Brilliant camera. It was metal bodied,
Right.
and you only needed a battery if you were using the camera's meter. If you weren't bothered about the meter, it was purely mechanical.
Oh wow.
So even if batteries went, if you had an idea of what you're doing, you could still use your camera.
Yeah.
And being metal, if you dropped it,
Didn't matter.
usually it might bugger your lens up, but your camera body was all right. You might get a few dings in it.
Right.
And I ended up with a couple of K1000s over years, a couple of the Pentax cameras. And I've always been into music. I used to go in a pub called the Duchess in Leeds. It was famous all over Britain, really. Every band that toured at Duchess at some point in their career. And there used to be a free music paper called Gig Central. And there was a banner on it one day, do you want to work for this paper? Do you want to get into gigs for free? I thought, well, of course I do, I'm not stupid. So I got in touch with a guy who at that time were living in Nottingham. And he said, yeah, do us a review of a band, send it in. If it's any good, you don't books, regular reviews. My daughter's friends were in a band called Liquid Head. And they were playing at Joseph's Well. Went down to see them one night, did a review at gigs, sent it off. And I was no writer. But he liked it and he published it. So I said, do you want me to do a few photos at odd gigs? Yeah, please. So I started photographing bands at Duchess. Didn't really need a photo pass for a lot of them, so I was okay. But then through this music paper, he said, if you get in touch with some record companies, you should be able to get photo passes. And that's what I did, just approached record companies because they're advertising it paper, that seen my reviews, they knew the paper. So they used to let me do reviews at gig, photo passes, +1.
Oh wow.
And I was out 4 nights a week most nights seeing bands and never paid for a gig for 3 years.
That's brilliant.
And through that I started getting CDs sent to post for review. Bands that phone me up, can you come and do some photos for us? Those I used to get paid for. And I did once get asked to send a portfolio down to Metal Hammer.
Okay.
And I wasn't happy with the prints I was getting. And it was right towards the end, I mean, about 6 months after this paper folded, I stopped doing gig photography. And I never sent my portfolio off. Now, to be honest, I don't think it was good enough to get a Metal Hammer anyway, but they paid big money.
Right.
Oh, if you were going to double page spread, you were in big money in them days.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But I had a lot of fun, met a lot of people,
Yeah.
met some of my heroes, interviewed a few of my heroes, and most of them, to be honest, were really nice fellas.
Yeah. So when the gigging stopped, what happened with your photography then? What direction did you go in?
I started doing landscapes,
Okay.
and for a couple of years did landscapes, and sort of enjoyed it.
I can
Not
imagine
really.
the difference between being in like a mosher club
Massive
where
difference.
everything's hectic and everything's fast and everything's jumping to then being out somewhere like the Lake District where...
Yeah, and I mean, I liked it, and I got some good results, but towards the end, I thought, it's a bit boring, is this,
Yeah.
Tree's a tree, and there's only so many ways to photograph them,
Yeah.
And then my wife got, through vouchers, she got me a thing called Model Experience, place in Holbeck. And a couple of male models who got into photography as well. They set this thing up, they put on 3 female models and a male model for the day. And they give you some instruction. And it was a bit ramshackle, to be honest, and a bit disorganised, and they didn't really know what they were doing so much.
Right.
But I love photographing people.
Hmm.
And it sort of built up from there. And then I got asked to photograph a family wedding. And I didn't really have the gear for the wedding,
Were you the only photographer?
Yeah.
See, I feel like there's too much pressure
Oh,
you
tell
know,
me about it.
what if
Especially
something went
family
wrong?
wedding.
This is the only opportunity to
That's
get pictures of
exactly.
this one big day. And
And I didn't have Prospect gear. I still don't have Prospect gear. You know, it's decent gear I've got now, but it's not Prospect.
yeah,
But the results were all right. And then I got asked to do another wedding. And at the time, I thought, God, like I say, so much pressure. And I wasn't enjoying it until I got it all done and saw what I got. And I thought, I really enjoyed that.
yeah,
And then, of course, when you get paid, it's nice. And I've done a few weddings since. In fact, I had 3 cancelled last year with COVID.
oh right,
One's been carried over to this year. Should have been in May. She's now, because she can only, it's in Halifax, she can only have 8 people at in registry office. So she's put it off to October, hoping that things will settle
Yeah.
down and we can do it then. Other 2, I don't know what's going to happen with them. But yeah, so I do mostly TFP shoots.
yeah,
You know, some fantastic models. One of them, Chelsea Sky Etherington. She was 16 first time I photographed her. Beautiful girl, lovely girl. Always brings her grandma with her as a chaperone.
yeah.
And she's gone on to do great things. She's a bit of a trouble kid, but she's taught herself to do pole dancing
Right,
in garage. She's got pole set up. Her granddad
Yeah.
set her pole up. But she does that and dance, which is fantastic. And she does makeup. She does some SFX makeup.
oh wow,
She is incredible. She's 18, 19 now, maybe. She's great. But I mean, some lovely girls I met that not models, just some photos taken.
yeah,
And they've been pleased with results. Some of them come back. 2 of my favourite models, they stopped modelling to concentrate on the education. One's in York at St John's
Yeah.
University, one's in Keighley at college. Hopefully when they've finished they'll come back like. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun.
One thing I will say, you know, I spoke about this yesterday. I had somebody come and visit from one of the Facebook groups, and I was saying, you know, my life, sort of 10 years ago, I would never have associated with half the people that I do now. And I started doing spoken word poetry, so I
Oh, right,
perform
yeah.
in theatres and stuff.
Yeah.
And the community that came along with that hobby is completely different to anything I've ever known, and everyone's just amazing. Everyone's there to support you and to help you, and you know, it's very rare you find someone that you think, I wouldn't have anything to do with you away from these events. And then, you know, this whole photography thing for me is quite new.
Yeah.
You know, I've been involved in creative stuff, I've been involved in videos, and that's been my thing. But then for the last maybe month, 2 months at the most, I've been on some Facebook groups, and everyone's just been brilliant. There's been a couple of sort of questionable moments where
Yeah.
people who don't know me have questioned some of the things that, you know, because we as an organisation and as a person, I try to do as much for other people as possible. And sometimes it comes across as like a what's in it for you sort of scenario. And that's happened a couple of times, but throughout my life, whenever I meet someone new and you offer, like I think I'm too open to offer too soon, and it's seen as like a
Bit too trusting.
what are you after
Yeah,
sort of thing. But other than that, it's been like the people have just been amazing, and like
Most
I said,
photographers are
Yeah.
helpful, willing to help you.
yeah.
I've met some great guys through
Yeah.
photography.
Do you think it's weird that it's very sort of male heavy photography and female heavy model, or is that just expected?
No, I think it's weird.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some fantastic female photographers and some great male models.
I'm still to meet some. Like I added one on Facebook, but he sort of sent me a message saying, "Are you genuinely wanting to work with me?" And I was just a bit like, "Yeah, that's why."
Yeah, they struggle
you know,
to get
I've
work
added
a lot.
you,
of
and
them.
I just think
Struggle to get work.
that just shows the sort of industry that they're trying to.
I've done
trying to
some
succeed.
headshots for a few actors,
Right.
and through that one, the shoot last year had to be postponed. Hopefully next month we'll be getting it done. He's an actor, but he also does a bit of modelling. So he wanted some actors' headshots,
Yeah.
and then a modelling portfolio. And I've only got to know this guy through doing 2 other actors.
Oh,
Their
right.
photographs.
Okay.
You know, it sort of builds up and builds up.
That's good to hear, because obviously that's come from a recommendation from someone you've worked with.
Yeah.
And that's my big
always
thing.
nice.
It's reputation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want to have a good reputation, and well, I mean, obviously the idea of this is to get to know more about you, but also I invited you to come and do a shoot so I can watch how you work, and
Yeah.
there's a little video that's
And you know what not to do.
what not to do. Yeah, I've learned. Yeah, so I've ticked all those things. So he did this, so I'm not going to do that. No, it was brilliant to watch, and like I said, the video will be playing now, and we got a young lady called Esmeralda to come in, I've got to be careful because I know I've known her for years, and I know that I mean this might upset some people, but that's not her real name, and I always have to stop myself from saying her real name. But it's just because of a job that she's had to change her name. But she's she was one of the first people that came and did a shoot here because this studio was a podcast studio, but we've got quite a lot of space. So I invited one of my friends who's a photographer to come in, and she came and she did a shoot then, and it's mad to see how, because I think that was only like August last year. August, September. It was towards the end of last year, and the stuff that she's doing now and the way that she's progressed and the way that she's sort of, it's become more natural. If you'd have seen her back then, she was terrible. We was having to tell her to do this, and what are you doing with your face, and why have you got a claw
some need a lot
hand
of
and
direction. And for a new photographer, you don't always know what you want them to do.
Yeah.
Whereas today it's been great because I've barely given Becky any direction at all.
Yeah.
She's done the whole thing herself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take some responsibility for that because obviously we guided her in one of her first shoots. So I'm only saying all this because she sat behind camera giving me mucky looks now. But yeah, it is. The thing I liked about your approach is you're chatty, you're funny. There's humour and it makes you feel relaxed.
I've got to be honest. When I first started doing portraits, I was concentrating that hard.
Yeah.
I stopped communicating with model, and for a new model, they don't know what you want them to do. They haven't a clue.
Yeah.
Professional model or an experienced model, they'll just carry on posing. But I used to say to some of them that I'd worked with before that knew what they were doing, and I noticed when they were shooting, every time flash fired, you got a beep.
Yeah.
And I used to say to model, next 4 or 5 shots, every time you hear a beep, just change the angle of your head.
Yeah,
Put your eyes in a different direction.
Yeah.
And it's easy for you and it's easy for them.
Yeah, I did my third shoot yesterday, my third independent shoot. So, like I say, we've been doing this a while. I'm usually the light man for my friend Phil. And the first shoot I did was somebody I know, and she came, and it was very much sort of like, I don't know what to tell her to do. And she was saying, what do you want me to do? And I was just like, just like look over there somewhere, and it was very much like that. And the other thing I forgot to do is put music on, so it was 2 hours of just silence. And then towards the end, she was like, "We haven't put music on." I was like, "Oh," and there was like 10 minutes left, so we didn't end up. But then the one that I did yesterday, my third shoot, was with a professional model, and like you say, she heard the camera click and automatically just changed a little bit, or changed the way she was sitting, or she'd stand up, and it was like I'm just there to capture her moments rather than telling her what to do, and it just made life so much easier.
Thing is, with an experienced or professional model especially,
they
know how they look best.
Yeah.
Okay, they're there to give you the shots you want, but obviously they want to look the best.
Yeah.
So if they're left to their own devices, they're going to give you everything you need. It's just, like I said, just a matter of moving your head sometimes, just slightly.
Yeah.
Different angle, different shot. It's great.
That's something Phil used to say. So if I'm the photographer, sort of look up in this. Imagine there's a square around
That's right,
me.
yeah.
Look up in that corner, and then just slowly, just sort of move your head around the corners to all the different places.
That's
then
it.
maybe go a little bit further away, and just look at different points from behind.
That's it.
And that sort of made sense. But I would highly recommend to anyone who's starting out, even if you have to pay, to get a professional model to come and use it as a workshop. Tell the model, I've never done it before and I want to learn. Can you come? And
most of them are happy to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a big help for me. A massive help for me.
Another way to do it is ask a photographer who can shadow him on a few shoots.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that's been offered to me. Like I say, within the community of me saying, I've just bought a camera and I'm looking to do this, and loads of people have been, I'll come to the studio, I'll talk to you about this, and we'll go through lighting and we'll go through all these different things, and
it's well worth doing.
Come along. And but with me being video, I'm always like, I'll if you're doing a shoot, I'll bring my drone and we'll get some behind the scenes stuff. And it's like, oh, you could watch what we're doing and learn. I was like, but then if you've got drone shots, it'll look good for you. And I'm always like, how can I help you?
I've had a couple of guys come shadow me on shoots. I mean, I'm no professional. At best, I'm a gifted amateur. But, they've learned stuff. And I've learned from them as well.
Yeah.
And I always say that I try to learn something different or something new from every shoot.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing it now? So from that first camera you bought when you were doing the gigs?
That'd have been in mid-80s, late 80s, really.
Oh, wow. So you'll have seen the progression of cameras and equipment as well, where we were talking about earlier, whereas back then it was you sort of click and open, you find out
Fingers
a week
crossed,
later when it's been processed.
More experience you have, more idea you have, you're going to get something. But,
Yeah.
you know, you sort of get down to boats, or used to use Jessops.
Yeah.
You used to go down, I used to nip out from work and get down to Jessops. Bin. Oh, that's not bad, bin. And then as you get into it, you have an idea of what you... And like I said to you before, if you know the band, you know the songs,
Yeah.
watch a couple of videos, see how bands performing,
This
what
is
they're
the bit
doing
where that
during the
guitarist
song.
does that thing with his
That's
hair.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and then you have an idea of what's coming up, you have an idea of what you're going to get. But the thing with gig photography is lights are changing so much.
Yeah.
And blue lights look awful.
Yeah.
For us, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
So yeah, quite often if you don't get it right and you get it wrong angle, top light, and sometimes red, but you know, you just got to keep blasting away and hope.
Would you not expect it to look that certain way if it was a gig shot, though? Or does it just ruin the whole picture?
Some work, some don't.
Yeah.
Some of they just see red, you can barely see it band through it.
Right.
And plus with gig photography, most of the time you don't get to photograph a drummer.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's at back of stage.
Yeah, yeah.
And I used to...
And it's usually like this anyway.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I used
That's
to
the only view you get is the top
I used
end.
to go see a band called the Fabians back in the day. And I photographed the band loads, and you could never see it drummer. And two of the guys worked at Town and Country Club, as it was then. And we did a shooting there one Sunday. And I thought, right, I've got them all set up so I could get a drummer in it. And these guys, they knew what they were doing. As soon as they saw me bring the camera up and get rid of the fire, they had an old standard lamp in recreation room, and they just pulled it across so shade with him and cut his head off completely. And I didn't know until I got photos. And they'd done it on purpose, you know. But that's how they are. But it was good fun.
So how much has portrait photography changed? Because you said portrait and sort of, what do you call it, 2/3 or...
Yeah, headshots, 2/3,
Yeah.
full length.
So how much has that changed since you started? Or is that very... Because I mean... I wish I'd have got a video of you setting up and done a time lapse, because the equipment you brought, say you're not a professional, you've got some quite wow. Well, for me it is. Like with my 2 little lights that I've got here, it was all quite impressive, the sort of setup that you brought.
To be honest with you, the lights are probably a bit overpowered, especially in a room this size. Although it worked well.
Yeah.
Like I said, the budget lights, so you can't turn them down as much as you can more expensive. There's plenty of power there if you want it.
Yeah.
You just have to do your adjustments in camera.
Right, okay. Yeah, I'm learning about
shutter speed,
ISO,
aperture,
ISO, yeah.
and exposure triangle.
You turn your shutter speed down, you turn your aperture down at the same, and yeah, it's all...
Yeah.
I just look for them like, yeah, that looks all right. And then the first shoot I did, I posted the pictures and I was like, oh, these look ace, and I put them on, and then everyone was like, I'll give you some tips on lighting and stuff. I was like, oh, I thought they looked really good.
Lighting is the hardest part. Photography is the easier part for me. The lighting, you know, if you get it right, oh yeah, that's great. If you get it wrong...
If I'm honest, I've never done any fully lit shoots. Everything's been low light. Even we did a fire shoot in a abandoned... It's not an abandoned train tunnel, it's only used once a week, so we went on a day the train track was not in use. So we're in the tunnel with one little rotor light, trying to adjust for the fire, the light that comes off the fire as well.
Yeah.
And we got some all right pictures, and I've got an editing app where you can make little bits of the body brighter if the fire's not close enough, and you know. So I had to play about with that sort of stuff, and I'm a bit happier with those. But yeah, like I say, I've not done any sort of like... Oh, I tell a lie. Some of them were out in the corridor where we didn't control the light. The light were just on yesterday.
Right,
so I haven't had a chance to go through and edit them yet. So hopefully they...
Even then, if you've got a flashlight, you can control the light.
Okay.
That's
Tell
what
me
I said.
about that.
That's why I said to you to
Oh, when I said, do you want me to turn the lights on? So what would you do? Just turn everything lower so it looks too dark?
What I do is I get my camera at the settings I think I'm going to want.
Yeah.
And then take a shot and see if it's gone completely black.
Okay.
If not, adjust your aperture or your shutter speed till everything goes black. Check your settings and say it's 250th a second. I think it was F8 or 9 we were shooting at today.
Right.
Set your lights to F8 if you're shooting at F8.
Yeah.
And your flash will only illuminate your model.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sounds more complicated than it is, but it works. That's all I've done today.
Right.
And the only time we've not got a completely black background is if I've had my light slightly angled wrong way and we've got a bit of colour
flash on it,
background,
yeah.
So that's the way
Okay.
to do that. So you could have left all lights out there but turned it all black.
Right.
And then just illuminated your model or whatever with a...
I'm going to have to play about with that now.
Yeah,
I've got somebody else coming in at the start of next month
It's
for
easier
a
than it
similar in the
sounds.
corridor, because
Yeah.
the corridor's really cool.
Yeah.
It's all like white and black.
Uh-huh.
So I've got somebody coming in like a black outfit, and
Yeah.
we're going to do some. We were going to do some gothic ones this weekend, but we're going to go. I've just found out about a studio called the Mill in Chesterfield, so we're going to delay the shoot for the goth themed thing.
Yeah.
Go look at the studio instead, and then if we prefer to do it there, we're going to book it and do one there. So,
I'm going to say, if you're doing it here, I might have talked my missus into coming down with me. We'd have done your goth up.
okay.
show, 'cause
Well, this is
we've got all the gear.
right. Okay. So I mean, we could make if I'll check how many people you can take. But if we do book the Chesterfield thing, come there, because it's like a Gothic church. There's like
All right, yeah.
a casket and an altar and stuff like that. Apparently, I've not been to see it
I'll
yet.
tell you a story about a casket if you want.
Okay.
Years ago, me and my missus were booked tickets to go see a play called The Fall of the House of Usher.
Right.
Edgar Allan Poe
Yeah.
story, Gothic story,
Hmm.
in Harrogate. And we were late getting there. And we got the last two seats. And we got sat down, and where this table is now is a coffin
Okay.
with a girl laid in it. And part of the story, it's sort of Gothic story, hints at incest between a brother and sister.
Right.
In this great big old ramshackle house. And she has narcolepsy. Keeps looking as though she's dead.
Yeah.
And this play's going on, and it comes to a point where Butler has to go into the cellar to check on this guy's sister. She's coming out, light says, Damon's got this candelabra, and he's walking down. As he gets to the camera, to the casket, he leans over, and the girl in the casket sits bolt upright and screamed.
And you're sat this far away?
Yeah. Now,
Oh.
my missus, being my missus, hadn't even noticed the girl. When she screamed, she scared my missus that much, she screamed. She screamed that much that the actress screamed again. The whole place is in total uproar for about 10 minutes. They're all settling down. We've not been back to Harrogate Theatre since.
That's a mad concept to have an actress out in the... So how long was she in the casket before that happened?
40 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Why my missus hadn't noticed it, I don't know, because we're in a white shroud. We were nearly knocking his knees on the coffin.
That's mad. She was just laid there
Laid
as
there,
part
yeah.
of the performance.
And that were Ronnie Lyons with a scream. You know, she got 3 in for the price of 1 in that. Yeah, so we don't bring
wow.
back.
Oh, that's brilliant. But yeah, like I say, we'll go and we'll have a look, and if it's any good.
Well, my
I'm
missus might not
expecting
go
it
to
be.
Chesterfield, but I'd go if you want. Mate,
Yeah.
you know.
Brilliant. So have you got anything planned coming up?
I've got, hopefully next week, a friend of mine, her daughter, she's been bullied terribly at school.
Right.
And her confidence has fallen. Like, you won't believe, she's really down on herself. So my friend Andrea, she asked if, because she knows quite a few of us through steampunk, community, photographers, if anybody would be willing to do a photo shoot with her just to boost her confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully one afternoon, one evening next week, I'm going to do a shooting garden
Brilliant.
for Letland.
Do you know Gary Brown?
Don't think I do, mate.
Is that his name? It is Gary Brown, isn't it? He runs the Models and Photography West Yorkshire group.
Oh, I meant group.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's the guy who runs it. He put a post on. He's wanting to do something for bullied kids,
All right.
offering free shoots with
didn't see
makeup
that.
artists, and so he was asking for people who would want to contribute whatever their skill is. So if you're a photographer, will you give your time? If you're a makeup artist, will you give your time? And then for a very similar thing, so it might be worth you
I'll have a look at that.
connecting with him and sort
Yeah.
of seeing
I'll be happy to do that.
what
yeah.
the idea is, and it might even be that they get a makeup artist to come with you and do,
Yeah.
you know, do all her makeup and an outfit or what have
I'll
you,
have a
and
look.
then
Well, my mum can do makeup. She's pretty good at makeup.
Yeah.
Isn't she? Now, I've got a couple more shoots in pipeline, but as it is now, it's sort of conditioned up weather, really.
yeah.
You know, because I do outdoor shoots, which I don't mind.
This is what I want. I want to try some outdoor, like bright coloured,
Yeah.
I've seen some. I think it was tagged as Kirkstall Abbey, like field with yellow flowers,
All right, yeah.
like quite long grass with yellow flowers, something like that. But again, I'm thinking with the drone, and then just somebody laid on the floor. I don't care whether it's a guy
Be
or a
careful
girl.
at Kirkstall Abbey because I did a shoot there 5 years ago, maybe. Gothic theme shoot in Abbey Grounds.
Oh, yeah.
It's brilliant for that, fantastic.
Yeah.
And then someone told me that that started coming round if you look as though you were doing anything for commercial use or anything like that, saying you need a permit.
Oh, right, okay.
Because they do weddings there now.
Ah, right, okay.
They've done a couple of steampunk events at Abbey House Museum just across the road.
Yeah.
And they've let us all go in there for photo shoots because it's just going on Facebook, it's not commercial.
Yeah.
But they're a bit cautious now.
Right.
But it's worth trying.
Yeah.
It's actually a fabulous place,
Yeah. It is nice.
I grew up around there. I've known Abbey all my life.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I think this is what I need to do. I need to go and just be inspired by places, because we're quite like, we do all the shoots here.
Yeah.
And as creative as you are, you only have so many colour backdrops and chairs. Like, I just keep buying chairs thinking that's going to change everything. Or lights, it'll look different if we have different lights. So
Golden Acre Park's all right as well.
Right, okay.
If you get to Golden Acre Park, there's Breary Marsh Woods.
Right.
Spring flowers will be out there in Breary Marsh. It'll be nice.
I wonder if it's worth putting a post in a group and saying, what's your favourite outdoor shooting location?
There is something on Facebook, photography locations.
Right, okay.
I'm sure I can't think what they call it group. It's something to do with photography location. There's some good ones on there as well.
Yeah.
Some good ones.
Oh,
Like I say, come to Whitby.
Yes.
Whitby Steampunk Weekend.
21st of July.
23rd, 24th.
22nd, 23rd.
Starts on the
Okay.
Friday, finishes on Sunday. And on the Saturday, the big steampunk market there as well at Pavilion,
All right.
which is always good fun. And steampunks don't mind you taking a photograph.
Right.
It's always nice if you ask them.
Yeah.
And tell them where you're going to put it so they can see them, or even
Yeah,
send
yeah.
them some. But yeah, and then Friday, as the Steampunk Market Pavilion closes at, I think it's 4 o'clock, there's a parade then, all steampunks do a parade. It's usually video and loads of photographers there.
Yeah.
But
Brilliant.
it's good fun.
Becky, can I ask you how you think the shoot went? How did you feel?
Be honest. Even if you didn't like it, tell me, darling.
No, I felt good because like when we first met each other, it was all really friendly anyway, wasn't it? So like, I know you were saying you felt nervous, but
Yeah. I don't buy it. I haven't got enough teeth for that.
So yeah, I was saying that I don't normally do studio shoots. I prefer location, but it was all good. It was all really light-hearted. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
You just wish I had a filming camera.
But no, it was. I enjoyed watching, and like I say, I hung back and I was just sort of observing, and that's the idea of this for me, to try and pick up tips. And the big thing for me is, how can I make people feel comfortable? For me, it's
Just be yourself, mate.
yeah. And when we're here, it's about, if you need to get changed, we've got a room in there. There is a big window, but I'll make sure everyone's in a place where we can't look into the window. If you want to wear a jacket, I've got clothes here where you can put on in between shoots, and we've always got bottled water in the fridge. And my main thing is, how can I make that person feel comfortable? And I think what I got from you with the photography side is sort of making them relax.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, Becky was Esmeralda. I'll bleep that out, don't worry.
Sorry, I said
I'm going to bleep that out as well.
Sorry.
Esmeralda was trying to do like model stuff.
Yeah, she's quite good, yeah.
Like,
I thought she might have done it before.
she was doing all this stuff, and then you'd say something, make her laugh, and then you'd get like a natural smile. Well, half of a natural smile, wouldn't you? So it was good to see, and like I say, if you've made her feel comfortable, then you're always going to get the better shots out. There's no worse than sort of
Nothing worse
having
than a stiff model.
no.
Explain why it's half of a natural smile now.
I didn't know if you wanted people to know that you have injections in your face, so don't book Esmeralda for emotional shoots or like happy or surprised. If you just want like
That's blank. A bit harsh, isn't it, kid? That's a bit harsh.
No, she's a good sport. She is, and you know, if you see any of the shoots that she has done, the comments from the photographer is always about how professional she is and how easy she makes it to shoot as well.
To be honest,
so.
my nerves went as soon as we started shooting because she was relaxed. Sorry,
Yeah.
Esmeralda was relaxed.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But
Like,
mate,
people
it's-
can know I'm called Becky. It's just on
No,
social
we've made it a
media.
point now. We're gonna. It's all just gonna be bleeped out.
Yeah,
so
the couple of models I've worked with before didn't want people. Some people to know they were modelling at that point that didn't want me to put the name on Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what social media are you on? Have you got
Facebook.
Instagram?
No,
No. Okay. So Facebook.
Facebook.
What's your name on Facebook?
Ray Stewart,
Okay.
and I've also got a couple of pages. Ray Stewart Photography,
Right.
where I post most of my portrait stuff, some
Okay.
wedding stuff, and Ray Stewart Steampunk Model,
Okay.
which is where I put me because I do a little bit of modelling outside as well.
All right. Nice. You
Just
never told me
steampunk.
about that.
Well, you can't get to know everything.
How
at once,
how did you
When
get
you haven't
into?
even bought me flowers yet.
I wanted to see how this went first. How did you get into modelling? Was it you was at an event and someone started taking pictures, or did you just
No,
make
by
that
accident,
decision
to
to
be
do
honest.
it?
By accident,
Okay.
really. Guy from Garforth Camera Club
Right.
got in touch on Facebook. What do you charge? Oh, I've done it before. So I said, well, what do you think for a couple of hours? So I said, well, okay, I said, how many outfit changes do you want? I said, well, how many can you do? I said, well, you know, I've got to get changed in between. I said, so no more than 3 really, so you're not going to get enough shots. And discovered that 3 were probably too many in 2 hours.
Right. Okay.
Because of volume, number of photographers,
Yeah.
shots of each outfit. So last couple I've done been 2. So I said, how does £25 an hour sound? Well, sounds great to me. If we throw a cup of tea and a biscuit and that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And went over. They really enjoyed it, like what I'd done. The photographs I got back from them, some of them were absolutely amazing.
Mm.
Some of my favourite photographs of myself actually from there. And then
Can we add a couple to this video? Can we add a couple of them photos to this video for people to see?
uh,
Have you got them?
on my phone. Can you get my phone?
Yeah. If you
Do
send me
that,
them
mate.
across.
Oh yeah, I'll send them over to you. Then they asked me to go back for Halloween. Same deal. And then last year, not last year, sorry, the year before, we didn't do anything last year. My wife and I both did a photo shoot for Otley Camera Club.
Right.
Hoping to go back this year for something else.
Oh, brilliant.
Bit disappointed with Garforth Camera Club because I said to him, you know, don't forget, if you want me to come up, it's fine, you know.
Yeah.
And he said, well, yeah, it's been great having you here a couple of times, but you did mention your wife did a bit of modelling, right? So maybe we'll just have her next time.
Oh no.
Oh, okay then. You know, but she's not so keen, and I enjoy it.
Well, just book it and then don't tell her. And then the day before, just be like, you'll
Spring
never
it on.
guess what.
Yeah.
She's really poorly. Do you want me
Do
to
you
come?
want me to come? Well, they might say no. But,
Well, it's too late then. It's the day before. They've got nobody else, have
but
they?
yeah, she don't really enjoy it. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
One thing about me being in front of a camera, like whenever I'm sat watching telly, I don't think about anything, or if I'm working or what have you. You put a camera in front of me, I'm really aware of my mouth,
right.
and I'm just like, what do I normally do with my mouth? And you don't normally do anything. It's
Not really.
just there.
Yeah.
But I'm always just like,
Tight-lipped.
yeah, I don't know what does my mouth normally look like, and I don't know what it is. But as soon as there's a camera,
Yeah.
I can't get my mouth to just do nothing. It always has to be sort of doing something.
Yeah, I'm usually okay. I mean, I don't get embarrassed. I'm never
Yeah.
embarrassed. I don't know whether it's because I'm getting older and
Yeah,
everything's happened already. Or, you know, like I said, through steampunk, you know, walking around dressed like Prince Albert,
yeah,
everybody's going to stare at you. I mean, my missus, she's just started now walking from house to car in a gear when we're going to a steampunk event rather
Oh,
than
really?
running. So neighbours don't see her. In fact, one set of next door neighbours, in a semi, the ones
Yeah.
attached, don't even know we're into steampunk because they've never seen us in next
Really?
show they do. Me, I go
Wow.
bust. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't care. In fact, we've got friends in the steampunk community and they're dressed like that all the time.
So for people that don't know, steampunk. So to me, the only time I see steampunk really is when it's sort of the tattooed face with the top hat, and it's sort
Yeah.
of like a white painted face with. It's sort of like a skeleton.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that right?
Well, the thing is, you can't be wrong because steampunk is different. Everybody has
Is
their
it
own
clocks
version.
as well? For some reason, I've got clocks in my head with
Clocks,
steam.
cogs, anything to do with
Yeah,
steam.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
based on.
Okay.
I was saying earlier that somebody once explained it to me as a look back into a future that never existed.
Okay.
And it's based loosely on Victorian times.
Yeah.
So the ladies will wear full skirts with bustles,
Mm-hmm.
lovely hats. Guys are usually in frock coat, top hats.
Right.
But then you get the guys who sort of make their own top hats and they'll have brass pipes coming out with smoke coming out of it.
Right. Okay.
You're walking down the street and there's a lady walking towards you and she'll pull a little cord and wings will come out at the side of it.
Oh, wow.
Everybody has their own impression. You can't get it wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
And whereas people say, less is more, that doesn't apply in steampunk.
Okay.
More ain't enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Pile it on. I mean, there's all different genres. There's steampunk city gent, which I usually go for. Then there's the military side, and some people take that very, very seriously.
Yeah.
They buy authentic Victorian tunics.
Oh, wow.
All the badges have got to be right. You've got a wrong button on your tunic, and they'll come and tell you.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. And some of them, believe it or not, form their own regiments.
Within the community?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some of friends of ours are in the Monstrous Crew Regiment.
So it's sort of like a role play type.
Yeah, but there's no sort of acting in it. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, and there's all ages. These kids, people take the dogs.
So if you created this sort of level of, not importance, but like ranks,
Yeah.
do you think they would get treated better? Or do you think it's just another person in a
Just
uniform?
another person.
Right, okay.
Nobody's better. Nobody's
Yeah,
worse.
yeah.
Nobody comments. Nobody criticises.
I was doing a project about power and what power looks like at work. Obviously, the boss is the powerful one, and in a courtroom, it's the judge, and then everyone has their different levels, and we give ourselves these different levels of power within the community and within our own circles. You have leaders and followers, and I just thought that'd be a good way to sort of implement a little bit of power into your life by adding extra stars.
No, they just take mickey out of you. They tell you you're being a dick. Because, like I said, there's all ages. People take the dogs dressed up as steampunks with top hats on and top coats. Kids get into it. I mean, I'm 69 next. There's people older than me into it. And everybody has a good time. It's just about having fun.
Yeah,
There's usually a drink involved.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a laugh.
It sounds amazing. So the event is this July.
Every July. 22nd.
22nd.
Well, this year it's 22nd, 23rd, 24th. It's always over a weekend.
Okay.
Starts on the Friday afternoon. Goes to Sunday tea time.
Right, that's in Whitby.
The steampunks are there all the time over that weekend, but the market's open Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
People sell all kinds of things. You'll be amazed at some of the things people sell. You'll be amazed at some of the things people buy.
Yeah.
Second-hand shops in Whitby get stripped bare in steampunk weekend.
Right.
So everybody goes, you can't get all the coloured shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The biggest one in Europe is held every year in Lincoln.
Right.
It's called the Asylum. That's always on August bank holiday.
Okay.
People come literally from all over the world to that one. They take over the whole town. It's fantastic.
Oh, I'm definitely going to have to look at that. Because, like I say, when someone's that passionate about something, there's got to be something in it.
We've really missed it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We've missed all those friends.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them live in North East, some live down south.
Right.
We've lost a couple of people
Yeah.
through COVID. A friend of mine were diagnosed, been ill for a few weeks. Excuse me. He got diagnosed with cancer. Terminal, it's in his ribs and everything now. But not even 50.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully we'll be seeing him in July.
Okay.
And in fact, they got married by special licence last year.
Right.
But they haven't had a big celebration yet.
So that's going to be it in July.
Oh, that'll be it, yeah. It'll either be in the Abbey Wharf in Whitby or the Board Inn.
Right, okay.
It'll be chaos.
Brilliant. I'll definitely look out for that. Listen, it's been absolutely brilliant to meet you. Like I said, I've seen you pop up on Facebook a few times and just trying to sort of interact with some of the people in the group. It's been brilliant to see you do what you do. I'd recommend any models out there wanting to do TFP or, if anyone's got, when you see the quality of his prints, if you think it's worth paying, I highly recommend people pay if they think it's worth it. But yeah, just for people to meet you and sort of experience the shoot that Esmeralda just did. Gonna keep slipping up with that. But yeah, and thank you for coming in as well.
Thank
I really
you for
appreciate
inviting me. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And thank you, Marvel, because once you relaxed, I relaxed, all my nerves went.
Oh, thank you.
Because we were checking a little bit one time. It's been over a year.
I want to give you a hug.
I wasn't sure what everything. In fact, I'm not sure all that's mine.
I'll be checking that before you leave.
Yeah, count everything, Phil, because I have a reputation.
But no, I do. I genuinely really appreciate it.
Thank you, mate. I've enjoyed it.